93.
Hello, welcome to the Joel Fleischman Happy Hour podcast. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
I don't think we're really sponsored by Central Waters anymore. Okay, if you're listening in, I just spilled a good quarter of the beer.
Okay.
I don't think we're sponsored by them anymore. Maybe. I haven't heard much from them. This is the Rift Indian Pale Ale I'm trying to suck up out of the fridge. Full transparency, Megan with me is drinking a White Claw Black Cherry that I just ran over at Crave. Paid $5 for.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then we have Marcus that is actually with us today.
Yes, with Nature's Touch spring water.
Right. So, cheers.
Cheers.
So today we're talking marketing with Megan Gassner.
Yep.
One of my favorite people that work at Drexel. Probably the person that I work closest with at Drexel. Is that fair, Marcus? Just
say
seen
yes.
from office interactions.
Yep.
We're also office neighbors, QB neighbors. So Megan's close to me. Marcus is adjoined with. Hi, Megan.
Hi.
You were going to say something. Go ahead.
I was going to say something. Do you hate staying next to me as much as Marcus does, or?
I have a big office now in the last 60 days, and my door's quite often closed. So I really don't hear you at all. But I do enjoy walking by you, saying something, and you going, huh? That's always a highlight
I've
of the
been
day.
trying to be better since you told me it's not very becoming of me.
It's true. She does remember things that I tell her. I've tried to coach her. I used to say that Megan was like my youngest sister.
You used to call me, yes.
Youngest sister.
Yes.
And then I realized, no, you're like my oldest daughter. So I had to revise that.
Because you're closer in age with my grandma than you
Same, not closer, the same distance. Hi, Barbara. Love you.
Shout out to Barbara. She was here today.
She was here today.
So Grandma Barb is,
needed
I'm the
help
same
with
age
the
difference from Grandma Barb to Meg. So and I get along with them both very well. So age doesn't mean anything, just a number.
Yep.
That's what old people say. Young people don't say that. Young people don't say that. Old people say that.
True.
That's true. Also true. So welcome. Let's get to this. So we got Megan here today. We're going to talk a little bit about marketing and Drexel. How does marketing work here? What does it all mean? I have always been a marketing guy. My dad has always said that I should have worked for Harley or Nike or something because he always thinks that I've been very talented at marketing. I do love marketing. I do study marketing. And I do like to think I have a little creative marketing brain. And I'm always selling something. If you work with me for 2 days, you always know I'm selling something good, bad, or indifferent. Little backstory. I have worked with Megan since she was 17. She was the OG original barista at the Blue Door Coffee Company. And she's really never left. I haven't let her leave.
Can you kind of talk about, you mentioned this actually yesterday or 2 days ago?
Oh, yeah, this is Marcus's podcast, too. I need to shut up.
Oh, that's all right. No,
That's it.
You actually just mentioned this, I think, to somebody the other day, how you actually started at Drexel, not at Blue Door.
No, I started at Blue Door.
No, but how you started working at Drexel, as opposed to Blue Door. You shared this with somebody downstairs, and I didn't even know that. Just tell your story about your internship that kind of fell through, and then how you got started here at Drexel. Mm-hmm. So how did that all work?
I was a barista at Blue Door. They hired me, and I never drank a cup of coffee in my entire life. But you guys didn't even ask that in the interview, so...
Did I interview you, or was just Raina did?
I
did.
You and Raina did.
Wow, good for
I remember
me.
I pulled in, and it was in the design room at the Drexel... Sorry. It was in the design room at the Drexel store, like...
It had to be because the downtown building
Which
didn't
must
exist.
have been your office, and I was supposed
to... It was
to...
my office.
I was supposed to start at 4 o'clock was my interview. I pulled in at 3:56, and I was in my car at 4:01. Like, yeah, you seem all right. You can work here.
I knew your dad and your mom and your family and your brothers and
yeah, because both my brothers.
You got the
worked
job.
in the
You
yard.
got the job through the fam.
Oh, well.
Sorry to tell you this.
Yikes. Anyway.
The truth comes out in the pot here. So it's
I think I was 16 at that time. Blue Door opened, and the soft opening was like June 1st, 2017. So I was 16. Then I worked there all through college. And then COVID happened, and Blue Door shut down, so we were only open through the drive-through. So then I would come and do my homework in the shop because there was nobody there. And I was supposed to have an internship at Society Insurance, but they canceled it because of COVID. And then
Sidebar: I wanted to keep Blue Door open the whole time, and Raina Jeffrey, if you're listening, she would not let me do that. She just did not feel ethical about it.
That's
Some
true.
thought like national media was going to show up, and I'm like, we're just going to reopen. Like that was really early on too. Like people think I'm a COVID badass, but I was even crazier than what I was posting and doing, and people like Raina were holding me back. True, right, Meg?
Yeah.
I was like, we're opening next week. She's like, what?
We had plexiglass up. It was.
Oh, I was so mad about the plexi.
We had to wear masks. It was a thing.
How long did you wear a mask?
I don't know, but I just had
These
a
were all
memory.
Raina's things.
I had a memory pop up, and
You could not have worn a mask more than a week or two.
It's a picture of me and Blue Door with a mask on.
Oh my God, embarrassing.
Yeah.
For all of us.
So society falls through.
Yes, sorry. Back on track. They call me while I'm in Blue Door, and they're like, hey, we're not doing our internship program this year because it's hands-on and we're not bringing anyone in the office. Cool, whatever. And then I realized I don't have a job for the summer. And then I don't know if Raina told you, whatever, but Joel's like, yeah, you can just be our intern. So he kind of threw me onto Caitlin. They found random jobs for me to do in HPD, and then when
I saved your professional career.
You did.
Unbelievable.
Here we are.
What a guy.
We're here for the celebration right
Yeah,
before Christmas.
6.5 years later. And then Connor was in the marketing role.
Connor Kissinger, shout out to Connor.
Yep. I was a senior in college. I commuted my last semester, and that's how I'm here. Oh, yeah. So I applied for that job after my internship. Got it, and here we are.
I had a fight for you. Brutal.
So how does, you kind of touch on this with your dad saying, Harley, Nike, marketing. Yeah. Do you think marketing's a role that if you had to pick something of like an interest, like to me, marketing minds are always like, you can use it in so many different ways.
Absolutely.
Do you think that has helped you as a leader in terms of Drexel and like elevate it and be creative? Because I feel like that's where kind of creativity marketing, like if you're going to have the marketing niche, you have to have some sort of creative or outside the box thinking to be able to have success.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, again, my brain works totally crazy, and I bring marketing to everything that I do. If it's Christmas, I'm trying to get the reverse Kobe reverse Grinches.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But like marketing's sales, there's everything you do is a sale. Everything you do is marketing. People don't, like, I'm not a salesman. And like, even saying you're not a salesman, you're actually selling the idea that you're not a salesman. So like, this is marketing, right? Book title could be, maybe there is one. Like,
I think it is.
Seth Godin
is.
Has this,
You
this is
bought it
marketing.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is marketing. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm like, is that a book I read? It's a book I read, right? Like, this is marketing. What isn't marketing? I'm depressed. I'm sad. Like, think of the opposite of what you think of marketing is. Well, then you're marketing that. So you're always marketing something, and I think the more you can push the limits of that and study what other people do and interwove that, yeah, it really influences society for sure. The people around you, hopefully in a good way. The coffee bean, be the bean.
Yeah.
You know what it means to be the bean? No. Be the bean. Be the bean. You know what being the coffee bean is?
I think so.
That was Jon Gordon's book, right?
Jon Gordon's book. You think so? Then say it.
No, I
I knew it. Totally busted her. I think so.
I know I've heard it. I can repeat it.
That's a great way to say it, right? So real quick for the podcast, be the coffee bean. Always be the coffee bean. Hot boiling water. There's a carrot. There's a heart. There's an egg, and there is a coffee bean. Right, and the hot water is really like, the boiling water is really like the world, right? Like whatever organization you're in or atmosphere you're in, really. So what happens to a carrot in hot water? Turns to mush. Mm-hmm. What happens to, right? So a lot of people get really mushy and soft and weak around conflict, which is boiling water. Right. And boiling water is conflict, and aggressiveness. And so what does an egg do around that? It gets hard, stiffens. Right? So people just shut down in a lot of those environments. What does a coffee bean do? Amazing. Makes the whole atmosphere better. Be the bean.
Makes sense.
Be the vitamin C. Don't be the cancer.
Yeah. Is this what you always thought marketing was going to be?
Hashtag Jon Gordon.
Hashtag Jon Gordon for sure. Is this what you always thought marketing was going to be at Drexel? Like what you've been doing over the
That's
time?
a great question.
What I went to school for marketing, did not learn anything.
Marketing degrees suck.
Yep. Correct. Yep.
They suck.
They do.
I've never met anybody that ever has disagreed with that.
Yeah. So I I knew what Drexel was, and I had only really worked here like not a couple months, 9 months before I went full time and went into marketing. So I didn't exactly know what I was getting into, but it's when people ask me what I do every day, I'm like, I can't really describe it. You just kind of have to follow me around if you want to know, because it's so unconventional. Like some days I never know what I'm going to be doing.
Ask her a follow-up question on that. But I want people to figure out what does it marketing mean to work with Joel and Drexel. That's my goal.
So
but that's your podcast. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So talk about.
That's what I would do, though.
I guess
that's what I would do.
So how do
how we're going to do this?
I don't know. We already are. Apparently, that's how we are going to do it.
So
Marcus doesn't really listen to me, so he'll do whatever he wants.
Are you sick of us cutting you off yet?
Not yet. No.
Getting there.
I'll keep this. We're in the ditch. We're in a low part. It's easy to get back on the road here.
Meeting, and it's just us two, and there's like 5,000 segues, and we can't get to the place.
How? So yeah, right.
All right, continue.
How? So if Joel has an idea that hasn't been done before, you're in a meeting. Do you instantly roll with it? Do you give your 2 cents? Do you, offer opinions back and kind of throw it back at them? Like that's not.
I think I've gotten better at that. I didn't let you finish your question.
That's fine. It's fine. You're excited to answer, so go ahead.
I think 3 years or 2 years ago, whenever I started, if you would have given me an idea, I would be like, yeah, that's great. But now I'm starting to push back a little,
a lot, way more than she thinks.
Do you think is that just truly just experience, just being around, or is it?
I think it's based off of it's a combination, experience, getting feedback from people. It's a combination of everything.
Sure.
I actually think it's almost impossible to work with me because I get so excited about my ideas. But I have so many, and I literally. And I appreciate that in Megan is she does push back, and she has from day one, because it's almost impossible to push back, right? A, I'm your boss. B, I'm selling the shit out of it. Mm-hmm. But she's got a pretty good yin and yang that way, I think, of being like, no. I mean, I guess I would ask you, but I think I know the answer. I feel that I'm pretty good at, which is actually makes it even harder to work with me. I will sell the hell out of it, and then you give me one more nugget, and I'm like, yeah, then we're done. I
don't really hide my facial expressions.
Worst poker player ever.
yes.
So if he's telling, I feel like you can just see. I don't have to say anything. Like the bourbon idea.
Her face just drains. It just drains.
The bourbon idea. I was like, yeah, that's super cool. I was excited about that.
Yeah,
it was one
absolutely.
of those things that's like, hey, we need to have. Here's an idea. We have to order it by the end of the day. It was exciting, and I probably showed that on my face. But I remember one time you wanted to do Drexel slides, like the sandal, for a Christmas gift one year, and I was like.
So in a situation like that,
No.
you're like, no.
That's awful.
How do your meetings roll that way then, right? You're like, hey, here's a good idea. I think this is great. I've been thinking on this for a month. Let's do it. You're like, no, I think that's terrible. It's like, where does it go then? Does it move forward? Does it not? Does it kind of depend on the situation?
Depends probably. But
like I said, I think I'm pretty or really good, which actually makes it harder to work with me. That I'll just turn my brain off and be like, hey, 5 minutes out. And then sometimes she'll even be like, are you sure? Because you seem really excited about it. And I'm like, yeah, we're done. Does that happen?
Mm-hmm.
So you're listening.
But it's the same reversed, because there was now I'm looking back at it, I'm like, that was stupid.
The slides were dumb. Kind of fun though. I kind of still like them. Custom slides.
I guess never say never.
Like Under Armour or Jordan slides, like shower slides kind of thing.
Yeah, but you can private logo like Drexel instead of the Nike.
And then imagine getting 800
badass.
people's shoe size.
You just get random shoe size. I thought it was still a good idea. Anyways, whatever. I'm done with it.
But it goes both ways, because I was gonna submit us for some stupid coolest thing in Wisconsin manufacturing thing. I'm like, is that stupid? And you're like, yes, that is absolutely stupid. Put your energy somewhere else that would actually help a builder. I'm like, okay, yeah.
I feel like we both explain the whys behind it, though. We don't just debate. I think there's very little ego. Yeah. I'm not saying it because I want to do it. It's more give me information why this isn't going to work. And I think you do the same.
That's fair.
And you want that, right? You want the feedback. I think at times, right, people think like you had started, right? When you start, you're like, well, whatever Joel says, cool, we're going to roll with it.
Yeah,
because he's been doing marketing, so I'm just going to do it. Where now you get to a point where you're like, I don't think I like that. And you want that, right? You want
I need filters.
Challenge me kind of thing?
Yeah, and like all the people around me need to be a filter. Because because I will get myself. I don't think about anything for a month, by the way. Somebody said I was like working on this for a month. Like it's like instant, which is a little bit of the challenge. Tacticals help a ton because like a lot of the ideas will just fade away in 3 days. But yeah, I need what I don't even call it filters, obstacles, people that challenge me, however you want to say it. Because like I was Raina. I shout out to Raina when she's at Blue Door. She's like, okay, this is how it is with Joel at Blue Door, right? He has. She's like about 20% of your ideas are absolutely golden. 80% absolutely suck. And then I'm like, what you really don't know about me is that 95% of my ideas I never actually open my mouth about. Like I always thought like growing up, everyone was having these marketing ideas. I realized like people don't have the ideas like I do. 95% of my ideas I never even communicate with anybody.
Do they go on a piece of paper anywhere, or are they literally like in that moment? If I have it and I spew it, it's there. Otherwise, it's gone. Or do you have a notebook of
I have Google Notes.
Sure.
Oh my God, I was just showing somebody today because I was telling someone about the power of a notes app. So I have like super random things in my notes app, and one of them is called marketing ideas that I have.
What's one of my Google Notes? You know that you were reading off my Google Notes the other day.
There's a lot.
Something about you personally.
Oh, yeah, my dog's name? Yeah, he had like Ren, Megan's dog.
But you writing that down, right? Like that's a way to lock it in your
right. But
like,
also,
why is my dog's
I will have I'll have 5 to 7 to 10 ideas over the weekend for work, and I'll always have a running to-do list of things I want to do over the weekend, which is literally like fill the bird feeder, because I'm like so all over the board. If I don't write down, like if like why would you write that down? If I don't write it down, it's gonna be Monday. I'm like shit, never filled the bird feeder, and it's like really stressful because it keeps like flooding my brain. And then I'll have like I'll have left column, like it can be the back of anything, like an envelope. Left column is like all my to-do shit. Right shit is like all my ideas.
I don't know if I showed you this, but we were brainstorming state of happiness, mantras, ideas, all that kind of stuff. So we're brainstorming. He scribbles stuff down on a note card. I take it, do my thing with it. I turn it over, and it's like his to-do list. That's like, go to the car wash, paper. Also, do you need this bag? He's like, oh yeah, give me that.
It's not all done yet.
Yeah, I'm like, there's stuff that's not crossed off. I know it's with your brain dump. So
but isn't it funny when you don't, like you just said, bird feeder? Like that stuff brings huge anxiety that affects like your day to day if you don't take care of it, and 100%. It's just light.
As long as it's on the list, it doesn't affect my day to day. But as long as it's on the list, I can focus.
And
that kind of lets my brain wander into like the work environment. So like tons of my best ideas have been that. Can we tell the story about the carpet name ideas?
Oh, that's a good one. Like,
okay, go ahead.
I mean, how it started?
Us, Amber,
yeah, but you walked past my desk like, I named all the Blue Door carpets, and I was like, I'm like, without me? Like,
we have our own private line of carpet that company Dreamweaver makes out of Dalton, Georgia. It's our own carpet. Carpet needs names. They usually have carpet's an emotional buy. Sales are psychological, so it's an emotional buy, so we wanted to have really cool names. So I was like, what, Megan? I said, what? It was like on a Tuesday at like 1 o'clock.
You said a lot of things. I don't...
Yeah, you just said like, I walked by and I'm like...
Yeah, you walked by and like, I named all the carpets, and he was like super excited about it, and I was like, I'm so offended right now.
Yeah, her face was like...
Literally doesn't hide it very well.
Lasers, if looks could kill, right? The old if looks could kill.
Yeah, I like burned holes in his soul
I was
with
like,
my eyes.
And I do that, like I'll overwork, right? Like, oh shit, I need to get her involved. Then I'm like, oh my god, Amber, who's the merchant.
She was also standing there. Yeah, hi Amber, we miss you.
And she wasn't more like gonna kill me. I could just tell she was like a sad puppy. She's like, oh.
Yeah.
Like that was something she really wanted to be involved with, and now it's kind of
I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know, but then I knew about it. I was like, I want to do that.
I think Amber kind of felt the same way. Actually, no, Amber had been working on it low-key.
Yes,
she thought she was going to own it.
I still have the sticky note. She had written down like 8 different names if her daughter would name them, and it was like Elsa, Olaf, like, and I still have the sticky note. But anyway, yeah, it was like 1 o'clock. We're like, okay, let's meet back together at 3. We're going to name all 8 carpets.
And like when I do it, like I'm only going to give that the attention it deserves. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. We're not going to have a super committee. We're not going to work on this for 6 months or 6 weeks or 4 different meetings or versions thereof or hiring a marketing company.
We had also,
we're going to do it.
At least for me, I had never seen the carpet colors. I was literally...
We're not matching up the name to the carpet. We're just like, what are really cool carpet names? And then we're going to match it up later. Yeah. So then we worked on it then what happened? It's us 3.
We met at like 2:30, 3
Lots
o'clock.
of laughs, had a lot of fun.
Yep. So we all read off our list. We put them in a Google Doc, and they were all pretty similar.
Yeah, comparable.
Yeah. Did we all use like Chat GPT for it though?
Yeah, making Chat GPT's the shit. I do not.
do.
I Googled it and was
That's
using other.
basically the same thing.
It's not basically the same thing, but
we put all of
marketing
our-
is that way. It's like you literally need to reach out and find out what other industries do and what other people do, and kind of morph it into our world.
So yeah, we put them all on the board, and I don't know, we just picked like our 8 favorite ones, but they were all kind of themed like nature.
Really cool though. Yeah, they were nature. We ended up with a nature theme.
Your favorite
But
one
we all
was
did that, like,
something
in 20 minutes.
cappuccino, and I think we killed it.
You
Sorry.
totally killed it, yeah.
R.I.P. cappuccino.
Yeah, it was some sort of. Oh, was it just cappuccino? No, it was like frosty cappuccino.
Caramel cappuccino.
Caramel cappuccino. It's a great carpet name. Got totally axed. That's okay. But our LVP, this is a little Joel story too. So we did LVP, same thing, private in-house direct manufacturer for us. We needed names for it. But that one went more Joel's way, like without Megan, or like what does Joel do?
You were kind of like, I already kind of know what I want them to be, but you're gonna look sad if I don't invite you.
No, that wasn't it. No, remember we
but
sat
Danny
down.
was there, and the names went really fast. We just kind of went in your office and were like, here's the theme. What did we do? Countries in Europe or something?
No, like I literally was like, I invented it like on the fly. We're like, what should we do? And I'm like, cities in Italy. And I
yes, that
Googled
was it.
cities in Italy. And I remember you guys like once in a while, like I'm pretty good at marketing. And I kind of like jaws dropped and I was like, Venice,
Yeah.
Rome, Tuscany.
Do I
Like
have
those are
that?
LVP flooring,
Yep.
hardwood flooring names. And I just remember Megan
Yeah,
and Danny be like,
Pompeii, Venice, Tuscany, and Rome.
Pompeii, Venice, Tuscany, and Rome. Them are damn good flooring
Yeah,
names.
I'd buy any of those.
And we did that like in 90 seconds. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'm just inspired. Like again, I'm not trying to brag, but like that's how my brain works. She's like, "How did you do that?" And I'm just like, Italy, cities, wood, Rome, right? Like hard, like it just worked.
So
did.
I want to go on this because I thought about this the other day. So big basketball fan, obviously, and Buzz Williams is like my favorite basketball coach. And
Buzz? I didn't
Yep,
know that. Okay.
And back from the
Maybe I knew
Marquette
that.
day, like got a chance to kind of see behind the scenes of what he did.
And you read the book Walk On?
I did not read that one. I read a different walk-on one,
Okay.
but I know who that is. I actually played against that guy in high school.
Oh no shit!
Jon
Is he,
Gordon.
is he a good guy?
I don't know him. I just knew him as a.
Oh, because
Kind of a
I
player.
asked the guy that was in the book. I won't say his name. Well, he's never going to listen to it. And but he did not give good. He wouldn't like.
That was
reply.
John Wookham, I think. It was the guy who.
Yeah. So I don't know if he's a good guy or not. John, if you're a good guy, that's okay. Not slamming you either, buddy.
I'm gonna
Shout
send
out.
this to him.
But
bet.
Buzz, the one thing I found out about Buzz is that, like, being at his camps and stuff, he's super, super aware of his surroundings at all times. Do you think that with your marketing ideas, like, are you just uber aware of stuff all the time and, like, everything that you see and feel is something that could all of a sudden, like, translate into an idea that might be related to marketing then? So I feel like you have a pulse on stuff where it's like all the time you have an idea on where things are at or what's going on, even though you might not be in the room or actively participating in something, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense a little bit. I don't.
And Meg, do you have that from a marketing standpoint? Or is it just more like, no, I'm just into creative stuff, and when I focus on something or if I see something, that kind of ignites my marketing ideas and fuel, or is it just hard to
Yeah.
explain in terms of where you come up with some of your ideas? That's kind of a wide.
I mean, you mean like more like a sponge, right? Like Buzz is
Yeah.
like a sponge. You're just
Correct.
absorbing it all,
Yeah, and
sucking
he,
it
and he
in.
pulls stuff from all areas. So again, like
Yeah.
marketing, right? Like you have a marketing mindset, you go lead a building supply company, but you can take from all different types of things,
Oh,
whether it's
sure.
reading books like Jon Gordon or it's a marketing standpoint, and I can take it into LVP flooring, and all of a sudden we come up with these names of Italy. You know what I mean? Like,
I have my favorite story about that. Is my dad, who is good at marketing, not the talent of me, more of a straight marketing guy, but understood that. So when I was little, this is pre-internet, way before the internet, 20 years before the internet, little camel sport buildings by my little Albert Fleischman, my dad, love that guy. He would get the Wall Street Journal solely for the purpose, he said the best marketing people in the world with the biggest marketing ad budgets put ads in the Wall Street Journal at the time. He's like, so if I'll use that ad in Camel Sport Building Supply, and he would. He'd be like,
And they're
that's a
hanging
great
downstairs.
ad. And they're hanging downstairs, yeah. So we'd actually take that ad, twist it and turn it to the lumberyard world.
Actually, is that one right there?
That's a Drexel one, though. That would be from like Drexel.
Right.
We weren't Drexel, we were Camel Sport Building Supply.
We need a new frame for that too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Well, that'd be my dad's ad, Crazy Days, but that wasn't from the Wall Street Journal. No, there was one that was in,
That's incredible.
my favorite one that my dad took from a huge marketing company was the Eye of the Tiger. and it was just this tiger walking down the hallway or the zoo or whatever, the jungle, and it was just like, we're stronger, we're hungrier, we want your business in, 1993 coming out. We're thankful for your business in the past, but we want your business in the future. In the eye of the tiger. It was just a wonderful ad, and that my dad got that 100% from the Wall Street Journal.
Interesting. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I was just wondering because again, like you seem to read a lot of different stuff, see a lot of different stuff, and I was just wondering if there's different things you can pull from where it's like that's a marketing idea, and again
to me, like Seth Godin, like everything is marketing. This is marketing. So yes, constantly, even when we talk about T-shirt design, we're always saying, hey, what works over here, and then we bring it over here. So. And it's actually a really cool industry because it's so under-marketed that we easily can pick that apart, right? This isn't like we're not like a restaurant or a bar or some real marketing veins. So when we do things, I feel like, Megan, when we do things, it's probably standard in other industries, but they're like, oh, that's really cool. It's like, oh, yeah, it's not that big a deal.
Like a game
and
show,
other industries, right? Like slides.
How have you been able to...
Never.
Joel, how have you been able to... Like, right, I mean, I know before Megan it was Connor, before Connor was it Stacy? Is that who was, so obviously people over time, how have you allowed yourself to let other people run with things as opposed to you having to manage, and obviously because you did marketing for a long time with it?
Yeah, no, great question. So when I started it was, we had 8 people, $4 million in revenue. Now we do 800 people, $400 million in revenue. And I really didn't think so I had to kind of recreate my position constantly. Like, what did I do? I did all the IT, I did all the marketing, I did all the HR. I was the dispatcher. I was the lead salesperson. I set the price for everything. Like, I did everything. I mean, everything. So then I started, again, probably books that I read. I started letting go things that I thought were non-essential or that I was not good at. Shout out to Julie in finance. Right? Like, you do the financials. That's not my vein at all. Like, I don't want to do the financials in the weeds. You review contracts. So shout out to Julie and Emily. Those were easy things for me to give up. Dispatch, like I think I can give that up. I didn't think I'd ever be able to give up human resources, which speak very, very much to my heart. I'm like, no one at this organization is not going to ever be interviewed by me. I swore on that because it was so important to get the right people in the right spots, and I wanted to work with them and have fun, like I have fun with you two guys. So I'm like, I can't work with people that I didn't interview. How would I know that if I can have fun with them? Mm-hmm. How do they know they're going to live up to the Drexel values? And then I met Caitlin, and I actually started bringing her into interviews just to see if she was smelling what I'm smelling. And she was always spot on, and I've always called her in a very loving way the golden retriever. And to me, what that always had meant was a golden retriever, if they love you, nobody loves you more than a golden retriever. But if you're a badass and you're going to do something bad to my family and this house, I'm going to rip you apart. And that has always been Caitlin. I'm like, okay, you can do HR. Like, you get the people that I would interview. You would fire the people that I would fire. So I gave that up, and I still had marketing. I'm like, I'm never going to have a marketing person. And it just got to be too much. And then we found Stacy, who was at Miller, which, again, from different industries, had a complete different mindset. She really professionalized what we did. And we still use, a shout out to Stacy, we still use a lot of her fonts, a lot of her, like, I was never consistent on fonts. And she's like, you need to have a primary font and a secondary font. I wasn't consistent on blues. I was all over and she's like, this is your blue, like down to the, color wall blue. And she really professionalized us. And then she left, and then Connor was there just for a very short time. But yeah, marketing speaks a lot to me. So when we brought Megan in, she's just been able to like read my language.
Yeah. Did you think you'd work at Drexel, being a high school kid in the area?
Hell no.
No, never. I said I wasn't going to Oshkosh, and I wasn't working at Drexel.
Same.
And then I went to Oshkosh, moved to Campbell Sport, and started working at Drexel.
Same. That's why we get along. Same.
It's funny because there's a lot of people that actually have that same kind of theme here at Drexel, where it's like
you said it
in the area, went to Oshkosh, came back, and like.
It's the Caddyshack show, right? I mean, it's the Caddyshack movie. Right in the lumberyard, Danny. Like, who wants to come back to Campbellsport at a lumberyard? You literally lost life. Like, you literally lost.
But you made a comment once that you had all these, like, big... I don't want to say that, actually. That you were, like, going to spread your wings and fly and go to all these places and live in all these places, but you had roots. Like, you didn't have wings, you had roots.
Yeah, no, I always believe God gave me big, giant wings, and I prayed for the wings to soar, and the whole time God just gave me roots. And I'm still not sure if I love the roots, but that's the path that God gave me. And I have amazing, great roots, and I'm blessed, and I'm grateful for them. But yeah, there's still a lot of part of me that wish I had wings, but that's not how God made me, and that wasn't my path. So, no regrets, but do I wish I would have been born with wings? Yeah, probably. I don't know. You guys paused at that.
No, I mean,
That's deep.
Yeah, it's deep, and I think it's true. I think there's everything right. I always wanted to be an NFL scout, but that never happened because you didn't take a chance at that. So, but there's always that. I think everybody has that. You wanted to do that still, to this day. Oh, it'd be cool if I could do that. But you just realize, that's not possible. I didn't go that route, you know what I mean? But, you still have that, dream, right? I guess is kind of a thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you always question God's purpose for you and if you're doing the right thing. Again, Marcus, you could still be an NFL scout if you wanted to be. You just got to say, but I'm not going to be. So
right.
then what, right? And then what was your... God has a purpose for every one of us. God does not make mistakes. 7.9 billion people, not everyone can be an NFL scout. God knows that. You know that.
Yep.
Millions of people probably want to be an NFL scout, so you probably wouldn't have been happy doing that, but
for sure.
Well, you really never know.
And it's a sacrifice. Really and what I realize too is I'm a family guy as well, right? So right. I always look at that and it's are you going to go move to Florida to work for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? Whatever your opportunity is, well, then you're giving up everything else in life because you're literally selling yourself to your job, 100%.
Yeah.
So
what's that book with? Oh man, it's got 5 stories in it. Sacrifice Your Dreams. Something along those lines. Urban Meyer, maybe Tiger's in the book. It's really a story. It's really almost a anti-hero story of these guys are amazing, but look what they gave up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're 3 times divorced. They work 120 hours a week.
Yep.
That balance, somewhere there's a balance game.
For sure.
And again, that's their path, and that's great for them, but there's a balanced path for sure.
Yeah.
If you're absolutely obsessed about something, that means other things fall. Good, bad, or indifferent. It just is reality. So,
circling back to marketing ideas for both of you, how do you accept, and you kind of touched on this, how do you accept just letting an idea go that maybe other people don't like, but you're deep down, you're kind of touch on the slides, right? You're I thought that was really cool for a little bit. How do you just allow it to get to a point where you're oh, I guess we're not going to do that. I thought it was really good. How do you just mentally not get so emotionally invested in that decision that doesn't follow through? Because right, we all have that at some point at Drexel.
Let me ask that answer first.
Sure.
And I think Megan's a little bit that way as well. And maybe it's because it says it wasn't our dream come true.
Well,
I don't really give a shit that much about anything. I mean, is there anything that I ever am we have to do this? I'm always this is the world's best idea, but I'm never to the point that I want to fight you on it. If you don't think it's a good idea, and again, you always got to think of the builder. If Megan doesn't think it's a good idea, probably isn't. And that's one person's opinion. I mean, it was a really cool case was the recent camouflage hats.
Oh, I like that story.
That's a good story, right? So,
I think somebody might have shared that in here prior. On
a little bit, but I got her version of it, right? So she's like, Joel, do you want to see the camouflage hats? And I was like,
I think you literally said, no, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm whatever, it's camouflage hats, I don't care.
So I had a bunch of samples of hats that we had been sent, whatever. I took them down to the Camel Sport store. There was a builder at the counter, and I was like, which hat do you like better? And he picked the camo ones that we have. I'm like, cool. this decision is over.
And you had that mentally in your head before that's one you liked, or it literally was just up to him?
Nope, I'm like, I don't wear hats. I'm like, this isn't for me. Might as well just go straight to the source.
Sure.
You had asked a couple other guys in the yard, though.
Yeah, and it was kind of a toss-up, whatever. So they all came in. We ordered 2,000 of them.
Yeah, so a huge dollar amount.
Right. And I think I was unboxing them downstairs, and I think Brock or somebody had came in and was like, oh, these actually aren't that bad. I'm like, what do you mean they're not that bad? And something had happened in training. You can tell that part because I don't know how that went down.
Right, so then training, somebody got a free hat, for answering a question or something, because Brock had grabbed some, I'll give these out, show the salesman what they are, and, hey, you got a free hat because you answered the question correctly or whatever it was. I'm like, oh my God, those are the ugliest hats in the world. I hate those hats.
And that's the first time you had seen it?
Absolutely. I hate them. They're so ugly. And either I told that to Megan when I got back, but I think actually somebody probably, I think Brock or somebody's like, Joel hates his hats.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Which again, was
either being funny or being like, oh, you better be on the warpath. Joel hates these hats. These hats. You're going to hear about it. And I never even thought about it again. I was like, And so Megan somehow brought
I
it up to
got
me.
snarky about it because that's just who
Oh,
I
yeah,
am.
so she's just
So
snarky.
yeah.
Not upset, just snarky.
Yeah.
Like, literally just sarcastic. She was like, oh, I heard you hate the hat. And my response was like,
Yeah, so. Like,
yeah, I was like, so? Like, it was
Like it's
just like,
done, right?
so.
Right? Like whatever, right? Like
No, and I'm
it's-
like, just because, and I even had to tell the team that, just because I hate the hat, like, I'm not going to run the whole company on what I like. Like, I'm a 50-year-old dude. Like, hats might be way different. Like, I'm not a big patch guy. People love the patch. Like, if I was still designing the hats, and again, is my point in this company to be the CEO, president, and 92% majority owner, to like pick out hats? That's supposed to be like my afternoon. It's kind of fucking funny, right? Like, fuck that. Like, whatever.
I just love it though. Like I could just see Brock, right? Like, hey, and here's your hat, and Joel's like, that's ugly. You know, they can just picture that though, right? Like,
And the hats are loved. People love the hat. Got so many compliments on the camo.
it's funny. It's a good story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I always took things very personally when I first started.
Yeah,
And then
that's true.
and I've in the last 2 years I'm like, nobody cares what I think. Like that's why I go to the stores and ask the builder because I'm like, it doesn't matter what I think.
Right.
Yeah, I think we both have that mindset. It truly doesn't matter what we think. And we have to challenge each other all the time. What does the builder want? We are not marketing to retail. You know, our Facebook page, Megan did a great job of getting some analytics on there. 6,000 people. Oh, let's put it on Facebook. 75% of the people are over 75?
No,
What's the
they're like,
stats?
I don't know them
Give me the old
exactly,
woman
but
stats,
there's like 80% are middle-aged women, and then like 60% of that 80 is in like the Campbell Sport
Like within 5
Boston
minutes,
area,
like literally, we're marketing to my mom's friends, or girls
or
that
moms of team members.
or girls that I went to high school with.
Yeah.
Because I'm middle aged now, right? Like that's
They're
not
not- yeah.
who's buying from Drexel. We're
Right.
selling it to local builders, right? So that we don't focus on social media primarily. We put things out there. We want to create a buzz on things. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but we need to support local builders and then kind of stay with some of those themes. Again, because I think because of all my, Megan's better at that, way better than me. I have an idea, and she's like, we need to stay with support local builders. We need to stay with certain mantras until
Yep.
it totally
Because
plays
we were
out.
talking about that, like, did we do this on the something? I don't know
Yeah.
if it was hats, t-shirts, whatever. Michael, it's not really dead. I don't know if it
Right.
will ever die.
I mean, we haven't even promoted very much, supply and happiness is not commission based.
Yep.
Like that hasn't been around enough to like let it sink in. So we got to let some of our ideas just live for a while.
Right. Well, I think it's funny how many different companies, like that's what I've always respected about us, is that you don't have the billboards just to have a billboard, right? Like it doesn't make sense.
like-
but so many places literally like, we got to have a radio ad, we got to have TV, we got to have this. And it's like, why? Like it doesn't even matter to those people. Like you're just wasting money, you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no,
you
like
know?
nothing
It's-
wrong with the radio, but who's listening to the radio these days?
Right.
Who's listening to an AM channel? And are they making buying decisions off of it?
Correct.
Like, and again, so many people do it because that's what they're supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
or they want to drive by and see their billboard if they're being honest.
Yep.
And we try not to do that because it is not helping the local builder. A builder is not driving by a billboard being like, I'm buying that. But that's why we're big into job site signs, hoodies, t-shirts, because that just reminds people that, hey, that job site's being represented by Drexel. And I think that creates a buzz. A new job site creates way more buzz than a billboard.
Well, look
Every
at-
neighbor, every builder saying, why is that house going up?
Well, that's like Connor's picture in Communities with the Drexel wrap. I don't know if you saw that yet. And Eden and the.
I
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
that
yeah,
last
yeah.
It's
night, and I was like,
talk about
Phenomenal.
popping. Like,
Yeah,
holy
that,
cow.
like, here, go, right?
Exactly.
I love the story of that too because I think you had like drawn on a piece of paper like this is what you like sent it to Jack Breeze or something at the time like this is what it's gonna look like.
And it was a horrible, again, weekend. That was a weekend cup of coffee, stained spill. Like, this is what it should look like. And it looks exactly like that. It looks pretty good.
Yeah. Cool. That's all I got. Unless we want to ask Megan the billboard.
We got to ask Megan the billboard.
All right, you get one billboard. Everybody sees it. I don't know if I prepped you for this, but I don't think you were aware from just watching the episodes. But
I'm sure she's seen them all and watched them all.
anybody, yeah,
From
right.
start to finish.
Subscriber
I
on
don't even
YouTube.
speed them out by watching.
Oh, God.
You slow them down.
She slows you
Take it
She's
out.
so into it. One big giant billboard. You can have anything on it. What's
Okay,
on the way? See, she prepped.
No, I'm gonna say this because I wanted to get this.
She's
as
just
a
Googling
tattoo.
something right now to
No,
read
I'm
on.
not. I'm going
She's
back
prepped.
in my picture.
No, I know her. She's got all
I
over
think
her
I already
journals.
actually showed this to you. It's something that's really not me, but this year has just been weird. Not in a bad way. It's just weird. because I'm a planner and
This is the most hyped up billboard ever.
Yeah, it's like
what? No, it's really not. I'm not. Watch me not be able to find this.
Well, that's up to the episode.
No, it's somewhere. Okay. So it's this is what I would want it to be. It's the phases of the moon, and this is what I want to get a tattoo of somewhere. But it's like the phases of the moon, so that would be across it. And then I think that's all it would be, is the phases of the moon. But the quote that goes with it is this. It says, "And just like the moon, you shall go through the phases of light, of dark, and everything in between. And though you may not always appear with the same brightness, you are always whole." And I don't know why, if I like found it at a time when I needed to hear that, but I just connected with it, and that would be my billboard, like the phases of the moon.
Say it again. Could you read it again? Please.
Okay.
No, you're clear. I just didn't digest it.
it was a lot. Yeah, you can take it.
Okay. "And just like the moon, you shall go through the phases of light, of dark, and of everything in between. And though you may not always appear with the same brightness, you are always whole." And I just connected with that.
Yeah. Well, I love that a lot. I always use happy versus joy.
Yes, you just said that to me the other day, and I'm like, I'm gonna write that down because
Love
that's so
it.
true. And you said, yeah, you.
Katie Felwick from Blue Door loves that line.
You what was it? You said, yeah, you drink to get happy, not to feel joy. that was
That's
like
one of it. Yeah. I mean, happiness is fleeting. You cannot be happy your entire life like the phases of the moon. Like some days you're happy and some days you're not. No matter, even if you're somebody that's super spiritual and super optimistic like me, there are just days you're not happy. And bad things are going to happen in life. There's going to be challenges, and there's just going to be Tuesdays, and you're just going to be kind of melancholy. But you can always be joyful. But to me, joyful, like being whole, is completely spiritual. Trust in the Lord, believe in God's plan, surround yourself with good people, be the coffee bean. That brings you joy. That's being whole. Happiness, yeah, some days you're brighter than others. That's just reality.
Yep.
So I love it. Good for you.
Thanks.
Awesome.
We've come full circle. Started with the bean, ended with the bean.
This is About the Bean. Podcast episode number 93. The Bean and Gilbert Brown. Peace and love. Love you all. We're out. G. Brown. Gravedigger.